Hi everyone, this is Dave from DailyTechTV, and in this video I wanted to discuss with you the best smartphones coming out in 2011. Now there are plenty of Android based mobile phones coming out. I'm going to be referring to notes throughout this video, and I'll also be showing you some on-screen graphics, just showing you some photos of the various phones. Now apart from the plethora of Android based mobile phones, we've also got the greatly anticipated iPhone 5, which should show around about the June-July time of this year. No idea at all what Apple are going to do with the next generation of iPhone, but certainly it's got to step up the mark if it's not going to be overtaken by some of these other fantastic handsets. Now the ones I'm going to talk to you about today are the Motorola Atrix, the HTC Desire S, the HTC Incredible S, the LG Optimus 2X, and also probably my favourite pick of the bunch, the Samsung Galaxy S2. So let's just have a look on screen. I'll show you the Motorola Atrix. Now there's not even any pricing on this in the UK yet. It's an Android based mobile phone. It's going to have the custom skin that Motorola developed called Moto Blur, overlaid on top of Android 2.2. A little bit disappointed it's not going to be 2.3. Hopefully it will get an update pretty quickly after its release. Now the processor, and this is happening on many of the Android based mobile phones that are coming out this year, is a dual core processor. It's a 1 GHz NVIDIA Tegra 2. This handset's also a 3G and 4G phone, so it will work on the faster 4G networks. It's got all the usual things like Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, front-facing camera, and of course a rear-facing camera as well. Now that rear-facing camera on this one is a 5-megapixel camera. It's got autofocus with an LED flash. It does geotagging as well. So we've obviously got GPS built into this handset. 960 by 540 resolution, 4-inch screen with Gorilla Glass on there. 1 gigabyte of RAM. Yep, 1 gigabyte of RAM. That is fantastic for a smartphone. And 16 gigabyte of actual storage capacity, which of course you can increase with the likes of a micro SD memory card. So it's got a great specification sheet going on here. A really nice 4-inch screen and a nice high resolution. Now the Motorola Atrix is also the mobile phone that you can actually dock into the back of this laptop dock as well. So you can actually dock it, and then once it's docked into that laptop, you're working on a bigger screen, and you can pull across your data and work on notes that you stored on your phone, etc. So that's got some real sort of strong possibilities. Now the next two that I want to speak to you about, I'll speak to you about the cheaper end one first, is the HTC Incredible S. Now again, no pricing, but this will be a slightly cheaper price point of the two HTC phones I'm going to talk to you about today. It's saying here that it's going to come again launched with 2.2, which is a little bit of a disappointment, but you will get an upgrade from HTC to a later version. It's only got a single core processor, a 1 GHz Qualcomm Snapdragon processor, and it's the MSM8255, 768 megabytes of RAM. Now the capacity quoted on the website I'm looking at is 1.1 gigabytes. I'm pretty sure that's wrong. I'm sure that a handset like this would come with either 8 or 16 gigabytes, but I might be wrong. Again, it's expandable with micro SD memory cards up to 32 gigabytes. Now the screen on this one is a 4-inch again, slightly lower resolution than the Motorola Atrix in that it's a 480 by 800 resolution, but that is still a very good screen resolution for a phone like this. HTC Sense overlay on top of Android 2.2, so again a very good handset. Front facing camera, yes, as all of them seem to be coming with now. Rear facing camera is 8 megapixels, so a step up to 8 megapixels here with autofocus and an LED flash. Now it's capable of capturing 720p HD video. Now I think the Atrix is the same. I think that's 720p as well. Let me just see if I can check that. Referring to my notes, yep, 720p on the Motorola Atrix as well. But I just noticed on that Atrix a really beefy 1930 milliamp hour battery. Now the other one from HTC is the Desire S. Now we've all heard about the Desire and the Desire HD. I had a Desire HD and had battery problems, so I'm hoping that they address this with the Desire S. This is going to be running 2.3 Gingerbread, so the very latest operating system, again with the HTC Sense overlay. A 1 GHz Snapdragon 8255 processor, so a single core processor again. 768 megabytes of RAM. Again, this website says 1.1 gigabytes of storage, but it's got to be 8 or 16. They can't release it with that amount of storage capacity. You can upgrade it again with up to 32 gig micro SDHC. 3.7 inch screen on this one, 480 by 800. We've got a 5 megapixel camera on the back and a front-facing VGA camera, so a slightly lower resolution camera, and a 1450 milliamp hour battery, so still quite a low rated battery. I really do think that HTC need to address the battery issue and get higher rated batteries in their handsets. Now the other one, and a lot of people discard LG, they don't really look at LG as being a big player in the Android market, but they do make some very nice hardware. Now they're touting the LG Optimus 2X, and that's going to be round about the £450 mark for SIM-free unlocked version. It's a 3G handset. It's got a 1 GHz dual core processor, an NVIDIA Tegra 2, so top-notch processor in it. 8 gigabytes of internal storage capacity, again upgradable with micro SDHC cards. 4-inch screen, 800 by 480 resolution, so very good screen resolution. Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, all the normal things you'd expect. An 8 megapixel rear facing camera, autofocus and LED flash, and the front facing camera 1.3 megapixels. Little bit higher rated battery than the Desire S from HTC at 1500 milliamp hours. So a very well specified phone. Not sure if I mentioned this at the beginning, but 2.2 is what it's going to release with OS wise, and 2.3 update very soon after release. So a great looking handset, and as I say, LG do make some really good quality hardware, so it's definitely worth considering that one. Now I haven't mentioned all the handsets. Obviously Acer are going to be coming out with new handsets as well, and they've done very well previously, but certainly my pick of all of the Android based handsets that's coming out for this year is the Samsung Galaxy S2. Now I'll come on to one of its failings right at the end of this video, but it all sounds really good. It's a 3G handset. It's going to launch with 2.3 Gingerbread, so the latest OS. It's going to have Samsung's TouchWiz interface version 4 over the top, so really nice interface. The processor is a 1 GHz dual core, so very fast handset again. It's an Exynos processor, 1 GB of RAM, 16 GB of internal storage, and again you can expand that to 32 GB using micro SDHC. Now there is going to be a second model of the Galaxy S2 that's going to have 32 GB of internal storage, so if you couple that with a memory card you can take this up to 64 GB. So that is really good. It's got Wi-Fi, Bluetooth again, everything you'd normally expect. The size of the screen is a nice 4.3 inch, but it's their Super AMOLED Plus, so they've added a plus onto the end, so hopefully the screen is going to be even better than the awesome screen that was on the very first Samsung Galaxy S. Now the resolution 480 by 800, good resolution. Rear facing camera 8 megapixels, autofocus with LED flash, so really good camera on the back, and the front facing one 2 megapixels, so top spec camera on the front. Now that rear facing camera is claimed to be able to capture 1080p video at 30 frames per second. Now when I tested the first Galaxy S, it captured reasonable 720p video. Hopefully they'll have improved it with the 1080p capture. The dual core processor is going to help a great deal in the video capture on this. The battery looks like a nice beefed up battery as well at 1650 milliamp hours, so you should hopefully, fingers crossed, get good battery life from the Galaxy S2. Now I mentioned it's got a downfall on it, and that is the pricing. Come on Samsung, £612 for an unlocked version of the 16GB. If you go to the 32GB version, you're going to pay over £700 for it. They need to get the pricing down on this. They need to get it to the £500 mark, maybe a little bit over 500 they might get away with, but they've got to remember that they are still competing with all of the other manufacturers and the iPhone 4 or iPhone 5 if and when it comes out in June. Now I know the iPhone 5 is going to be around about the £550 mark, but people tend to buy the Apple iPhone because there's only one choice. In the Android marketplace, you've heard in this video that all of these handsets coming out this year, Samsung really need to get the price down on this. It is still a very high spec handset, and people might pay that premium because the Galaxy S was very well received. But if they can get the price down, they will have a winner on their hands with this. So the Galaxy S2 is my pick of all the new handsets. I suppose my second favourite, or the one that interests me most, is the Motorola Atrix. And that's just because of this dockable feature as well, and it does look like a nice piece of hardware. So thank you very much for watching this video. I'd be interested to hear from you in the comments as to what phone you're hoping to pick up in 2011, and I'll see you all in the next video.